This might be kind of long. I'm going to get comfortable here. Uh, I'm Cecil Mills. This is the world's largest pollution free automotive engine research laboratory. We're in Converse, Louisiana. Uh, I have a conspiracy channel. This is a real conspiracy. So be careful what you do. Be careful. But I called up these people called Earth Justice, and they go to court and they get for environmental causes. And I thought, well, the one most thing you could do environmentally is get the cleanest fuel and use it. Uh, if we think fossil fuels are causing the problem, what else we got? What else is there? So I don't see how you can claim to be very environmental and you didn't think about what else could we use. Did you think that? I mean, so I wrote this letter to the environmental justice, I think is the name of it, and I thought about it. I'm gonna send it a couple copies. I'm gonna make some copies and send it around to my state legislator, Rodney Shammerhorn, and some other people. I've been applying for small business development funding from the SBDC, they call it, and I met Dr. Paul Carell at LSUA in Alexandria, and asked him to hook me up with a chemist and a mechanical engineer, and let's talk about it. And they should have a program to investigate the cleanest fuel there is. We can make it from water and sunshine. So, but we're not. So somebody should. So here's the letter. It starts off. It says, "True story. I had two oil and gas commercials taken off CNN, one off NBC, Katie Couric. The second time I called CNN, the commercial traffic manager, Steve Mazer, told me, 'You're the only person in a country of 300 million people calling about this.' I just had to tell him it was still true, even if nobody else cared or knew. I don't know how we're missing this. To CNN and NBC's credit, they all removed the ads that day because the ads were so obviously lying. The Shell ad said the more shale gas we burn, the cleaner the air will be. That's just not true. Fifth grader knows this. The other one was Oil and Gas Institute, and they said they were removing 90% of the pollution from diesel fuel, and that's not true. They took out sulfur because it clogs up the catalytic cracking process at their plant, not because of pollution. And they charge a nickel a gallon more, and they act like, and I told them, no, that's not 0.9%. You can call them and tell them I said that. They're going to take 90% of the pollution out of diesel fuel. Come on. And it's because they're down to sour crude now instead of what used to be called sweet light crude, didn't have sulfur in it. So anyway, it sounded good. Isn't it funny how we subsidize oil companies? The grossest polluters there is, $659 billion a year, according to Google. I just did it. But you can't buy the cleanest fuel there is anywhere in the United States. Not none. You can buy it on Alibaba, but it's a $1,700 import duty fee at the border. So most people can't even name, most environmentally conscious people that claim they're all tree hugger can't name the cleanest fuel. So we need to fix this. That's funny. I know it's hard to believe. So you'd think that every environmental group, if they really mean it, would stop talking about a fuel that would not stop talking about a fuel that we can make from water and sunshine. Water is less than a penny a gallon here in Converse, and oil is $120 a barrel, which is about $3 a gallon. That's about 300 times more, or more than that, if I pay less than a penny. So it can reverse global warming. Um, this takes a couple minutes to explain, but um, if you catch solar energy and you store it in water to make fuel, then burn it again that day, you don't burn it, you decompose it. You're using the same solar energy that day that you got that day. So the same amount of solar energy is heating the earth all the time. When you burn oil, you're digging up dead stuff from hell, and it's millions of BTUs in a gallon. Yeah, it's going to heat the place up. That's heat stored in oil from millions of years ago. That's dead stuff that was alive and grew because of the sun's energy, and it went in the sewer, and it's supposed to stay down there, and it's polluting the air. Uh, a lot. More than most people realize. They think it's me. Something's wrong with me. Well, I'm not breathing. Maybe it's the air. Maybe it's the air. This is why we do this here. Uh, then I found out this fuel powered the world's fastest cars. That's why I like it. That's the first thing I knew. I had to go see how they're doing this. These world's fastest cars. You won't see them today. They've been banned out of existence practically. You can't buy the fuel from the government. I'm coming to that. This fuel can stop the killing of 6 to 9 million innocent people a year. That's according to the World Health Organization. They say that's how much air pollution kills people. Oh, I'm not talking about stopping air pollution. I'm talking about stopping air pollution plus putting oxygen back in the air. Where our cars convert oxygen in the air to CO2. I don't see how people don't get this. They think, oh, there's a lot of carbon in there. No, that's CO2, and it's made out of carbon and oxygen. And it's different than carbon in the air. Carbon's black stuff that falls out of the sky. CO2 it falls out too, but it's down here at sea level where we're trying to breathe. So anyway, hydrogen peroxide puts out oxygen, about 5 pounds per gallon of hydrogen peroxide of 90% concentration. So that would make a difference right there. Just the fact that something replaced petroleum. So you'd think all the environmental community be all excited about this. Well, here's the truth of it. You can get sent to Supermax for possession of the cleanest fuel. You didn't know this, huh? Oh, you heard Richard the Shoe Bomber, and you've probably seen those three Arab kids at the beauty supply getting arrested, but you didn't realize what was happening there. So most people still can't name it, even after all of that. Those are qualities that no other fuel has. Powered the world's fastest car, there's only one of those. So I'm not a doctor, but I'd bet $1 that breathing oxygen is better for you than breathing gasoline car exhaust. And I'm not a lawyer or a politician, but I bet another dollar that every Congress person that took a campaign contribution from petroleum fossil fuels, like Joe Manchin, for instance, I bet he voted to put hydrogen peroxide, the cleanest fuel there is, on the terrorist list. Some universities objected and stuff, but they did it anyway. Uh, no car company or university will hardly mess with it because it's on the terrorist list. They're not going to get funding for something on the terrorist list. So they're probably going to get looked at by some FBI, NSA, CIA, somebody. I call the Chinese embassy. I'm probably on several agencies' notepad. So anyway, plus now I'm telling you all our Congress people are bribed by the oil companies. You can find that out from the Federal Election Commission. So I've been licensed by the government, the NASA licensed me to make hydrogen concentrate, hydrogen peroxide using their patent to make rocket fuel. They're buying it. It's made from oil. And I went to NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and tried to get a grant to run a plant like this. And the guy had 2 PhDs. His name was Howard Robb. I complained to my congressman. Uh, he had 2 PhDs, and he was stuck on you can only make this fuel from oil. Well, My whole idea is making it from water. It said in the grant application on page 2. So, and solar energy. So, the guy was unrealistic, but he had the upper hand. My congressman wouldn't do anything. He got 10 times his salary from the oil company. So now it's a dog thing here. And I'm going to have to make a stage 2 of this.